Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Most of us barely notice the coins we handle every day. They clink in our pockets, pile up in jars, and pass through our hands without a second thought. But sometimes, among the ordinary, there lies the extraordinary. One small, overlooked coin can hold a story, a mistake, or a rarity that transforms it from everyday currency into a valuable collectible. One such coin is the 1999 Delaware Washington State Quarter, a piece that helped launch an entire era of modern coin collecting, and in some cases, is now worth tens of thousands of dollars. To understand why the 1999 Delaware Quarter has become such a sensation in the coin world, we need to go back to its place in American numismatic history. In the late 1990s, the United States Mint launched one of the most ambitious and popular coin programs in its history, the 50 State Quarters program. This initiative, which began in 1999, would eventually roll out 5 new quarters each year, one for every U.S. state, in the order that they ratified the Constitution or were admitted to the Union. Delaware was the very first state to ratify the Constitution, so it had the honor of being featured on the very first coin in the program. Released in early 1999, the Delaware Quarter carried enormous historical significance. Not only did it symbolize the beginning of this new collecting era, but it also set the tone for what would become one of the most beloved coin series in U.S. history. On the obverse of the Delaware State Quarter, we see the familiar profile of George Washington, the nation's first president, facing left. This portrait, designed by John Flanagan, has appeared on the quarter since 1932 and remained untouched throughout the State Quarters program. What changed was the reverse, and in the case of Delaware, it was a tribute to one of the state's most iconic historical moments. The reverse of the Delaware Quarter depicts Caesar Rodney, a prominent statesman and signer of the Declaration of Independence, on horseback. The image captures his legendary 70-mile ride through a thunderstorm to cast his vote in favor of independence at the Continental Congress. It's a striking, dynamic design, full of motion and patriotism, and it helped ignite a renewed public interest in coins across the country. But as beautiful and historic as the design is, it isn't what gives this quarter its staggering value. What makes the 1999 Delaware Quarter truly special, and in some cases, incredibly valuable, are the rare minting errors that occurred during production. Now, keep in mind, the Delaware Quarter was the first of its kind. The U.S. Mint was beginning a brand new series with an ambitious production schedule. As with many firsts, there were hiccups. And those hiccups turned into treasure for collectors. One of the most famous and sought-after errors from the Delaware Quarter is the spitting horse error. This happens when a small die crack appears from Caesar Rodney's mouth on the horse, making it look like the horse is spitting. It's a subtle detail, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it. These error coins quickly caught the attention of collectors and became hot items in the numismatic world. There are also other rarer and more dramatic errors associated with the Delaware Quarter, including off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned dies that cause the design to shift or duplicate. In some cases, coins were even struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were minted on metal discs intended for other denominations. These kinds of errors are incredibly rare and can turn a seemingly ordinary coin into a valuable collectible overnight. But condition is also a key factor. A Delaware Quarter found in a pocket or change jar, worn and scratched, might not bring in more than face value, even with a minor error. But a pristine example, a coin that's never been circulated, that still gleams with its original mint luster, that shows no signs of handling or wear, is a whole different story. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services, especially when paired with a rare error, can command enormous sums at auction. Imagine someone sorting through an old roll of quarters. They come across a 1999 Delaware Quarter that looks especially clean. They flip it over and notice the horse, and then they see it. That tiny, almost invisible crack at the horse's mouth. Could it be the legendary spitting horse error? They send it off for grading, and it comes back as a mint state 68 with a confirmed die crack. Suddenly, that single coin becomes the centerpiece of a high-stakes bidding war. Collectors know how important the first coin in a series can be, and when it's tied to a popular error and preserved in stunning condition, the value skyrockets. This is the thrill of coin collecting, the chase, the discovery, and the incredible potential hiding in your pocket change. And in one unforgettable case, that exact scenario played out. A 1999 Delaware state quarter, perfectly preserved, with a well-documented and rare minting error, crossed the auction block. With collectors from across the country watching, the bids climbed higher and higher. This was not just a coin, it was a piece of history, a symbol of American craftsmanship, and a rare collectible all rolled into one. When the final gavel fell, the humble Delaware quarter, the very first of its kind, sold for an astonishing $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000 for a quarter that, to most people, would be worth just 25 cents. It's a powerful reminder that value can be hidden in the smallest things. And it's why, to this day, collectors are still searching through rolls of coins, flipping over every Delaware quarter they find, hoping they might be the next lucky one. So the next time you come across a 1999 Delaware quarter, don't be so quick to spend it. Take a close look. Examine the details. Look for the spitting horse, look for unusual strikes, check the condition. Because if you happen to find the right one, that rare and pristine coin, you just might be holding a treasure in the palm of your hand. And just like one lucky collector discovered, your 25-cent coin could actually be worth $65,000. Top 2. It's easy to dismiss spare change as nothing more than everyday pocket filler, coins tossed into the bottoms of bags, car cup holders, and dusty old jars. But every once in a while, one of those coins has a story. A secret. A rare detail, or a historic twist that transforms it from an ordinary piece of metal into a highly prized treasure. That's exactly the case with the 1999 Connecticut Washington quarter, a coin that, to the naked eye, looks like any other, but in the right condition, with the right characteristics, can be worth far more than you'd ever expect. Let's rewind the clock to 1999, a milestone year for the U.S. Mint and American coin collectors. It was the year the 50-state quarters program officially launched, a decade-long series that would capture the imagination of the public and reinvigorate the hobby of coin collecting across the country. As part of the initiative, 5 unique quarters were released each year, each one honoring a different state in the order of their ratification of the Constitution or admission to the Union. Connecticut was the 5th and final state featured in that first exciting year. The Connecticut quarter, released in late 1999, stands apart for its beautiful and deeply symbolic design. On the reverse, you'll find a striking image of the legendary charter oak, a massive, centuries-old tree that played a key role in early colonial American history. According to legend, in 1687, Connecticut colonists used the hollow trunk of the charter oak to hide the royal charter granted by King Charles II, protecting it from being seized by the British. The image of that historic tree, with its wide-reaching limbs and timeless presence, became a proud emblem of Connecticut's independence and defiance. The front of the quarter, as always, features the iconic portrait of George Washington. Though the obverse remained consistent across all state quarters, each reverse told a state's unique story, and the charter oak design made the Connecticut coin one of the most admired in the entire series. But admiration alone doesn't create value. What turns a beautiful coin into a fortune? That's where the world of minting errors, condition, and rarity comes into play. As the final release of the 1999 series, the Connecticut quarter was struck in massive numbers. Hundreds of millions were minted across different facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. But with such a high production volume came mistakes, and those mistakes are what serious collectors chase. Errors that occur during the minting process, such as double strikes, off-center images, die cracks, and even coins struck on the wrong metal blanks, can elevate a coin from average to astonishing. One of the most talked about errors involving the Connecticut quarter is a misalignment during striking, where the obverse and reverse don't line up perfectly. Others feature partial design details or diode breaks that result in a ghost-like appearance or extra metal flow in areas of the coin. These are the flaws that make certain coins unique, and in the numismatic world, uniqueness often means serious value. But rarity alone isn't enough. Condition is everything. A coin that's spent years clinking around in pockets and drawers, worn smooth from handling, won't attract much attention, even with a minor error. The real stars of the coin world are those that have survived untouched, in pristine condition. These are the coins that were never circulated, pulled aside at the time of minting, and stored safely ever since. When sent to professional grading services, they receive top marks, often labeled mint state, MS 67 or higher, meaning they are virtually flawless. Now imagine this: a collector is sorting through a collection of state quarters, many of them forgotten since the early 2000s. One Connecticut quarter stands out. Its detail is sharp. The luster is untouched. It doesn't just look new, it looks perfect. Intrigued, the collector sends it off for grading. The results come back, mint state 68. But that's not all. A closer examination reveals an ultra-rare die crack stretching across part of the charter oak, a known era variety, but rarely seen in such high-grade. Word spreads. Collectors are excited. Auction houses take interest. Suddenly, this humble state quarter becomes the centerpiece of a bidding war. Why? Because it checks all the boxes: historical design, early state quarter issue, rare minting error, and near-perfect preservation. This isn't just another quarter anymore, it's a numismatic gem, and bidders are ready to pay top dollar for it. What began as a simple coin, the kind you might find in your change without even thinking twice, ends up commanding a price that stuns the collecting community. In one incredible auction, that Connecticut state quarter, beautifully preserved and bearing a rare minting anomaly, sells for a breathtaking $55,000. Let that sink in for a moment. A 25-cent piece. A coin minted in vast numbers and circulated freely for decades. Yet, in the right condition, with the right story behind it, that same coin becomes worth $55,000. This is what makes coin collecting such an incredible journey. It's a mix of history, discovery, and the thrill of possibility, that maybe, just maybe, the next extraordinary coin is already in your possession. So before you overlook that Connecticut quarter in your collection, or pass it by in your loose change, take a closer look. Examine the detail. Look for signs of a minting error. Consider its condition. Because you never know, you might just be holding a tiny piece of history worth far more than anyone could ever guess. Just like one lucky collector discovered, one 1999 Connecticut quarter sold for a remarkable $55,000. Top 3. When you hold a coin in your hand, you're not just holding metal, you're holding a piece of American history. And every once in a while, that coin tells a story so powerful, so deeply connected to our national identity, that it becomes more than just currency. The 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter is one such coin. It doesn't just represent 25 cents, it represents courage, legacy, and honor. And for collectors, this coin isn't just a symbol of history. In rare cases, it has also become a valuable treasure, quietly tucked away in pocket change, waiting to be discovered. The Tuskegee Airman quarter was released in 2021 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a monumental series that celebrated America's national parks, monuments, and historic sites across every state and territory. This particular coin was more than just another release. It was the final coin in the entire program, and its subject matter carried enormous significance. The coin honors the Tuskegee Airman National Historic Site in Alabama, a tribute to the brave African American pilots who served in World War II, breaking racial barriers while defending their country with honor. On the obverse, as with every quarter since 1932, we find the enduring portrait of George Washington. But the reverse of this coin is where its powerful message is told. The design features a young Tuskegee Airman in uniform, standing proudly in front of a vintage airfield hangar. In the sky behind him, two P-51 Mustangs soar, the very aircraft flown by the famed Red Tails. Above the airman's head, the words, "They fought 2 wars," are inscribed. That short phrase speaks volumes. These men battled both fascism overseas and racism at home. This imagery isn't just art, it's a tribute to real men and women who changed history. The Tuskegee Airmen proved themselves as some of the most skilled and fearless pilots of the war, completing more than 15,000 missions. Their legacy helped lay the foundation for the eventual desegregation of the U.S. Armed Forces, and this coin immortalizes their impact forever. Because it was the final release of the America the Beautiful series, the 2021 Tuskegee Airman Quarter already holds special importance. But what makes certain examples of this coin so incredibly valuable are the rare errors and exceptional conditions found in just a few of them. You see, while the U.S. Mint strikes millions of coins, not all of them come out perfectly. And for collectors, those imperfections can mean everything. Some Tuskegee Airman quarters were struck with die breaks, doubling on the lettering, or even struck off-center, creating unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors seek out aggressively. These minting errors often go unnoticed at first glance, but under close inspection, they tell a completely different story. A slight misprint in the inscription, a doubling of the aircraft's wings, or even a rare die clash where parts of the design appear where they shouldn't. These tiny mistakes are what turn a regular coin into a rare collectible. But it's not just errors that can push the value sky high. The condition of the coin plays a huge role. Coins are professionally graded using a 70-point scale. A coin that receives a mint state, MS, grade of 67 or above is considered almost flawless. A coin that's sharp, clean, and brilliantly struck, untouched by circulation, becomes a top-tier collectible. And the 2021 Tuskegee Airman Quarter, when found in such a state and combined with a rare minting error, can rise far beyond its face value. Picture this: a coin collector sorting through their change after a routine trip to the grocery store. Their eyes catch the distinctive Tuskegee Airman design. Something about it looks just a bit unusual. Maybe the lettering is slightly off, or the detail in the wings of the aircraft is subtly doubled. Intrigued, they send the coin to a grading service. When the results come back, it's confirmed. This is a rare error coin in nearly perfect mint state condition. A true rarity. Before long, word spreads in the collecting world. This isn't just a historical coin, it's a numismatic gem. Auction houses take notice. Collectors with deep pockets start to line up. What began as spare change now becomes the focus of an intense bidding war. People aren't just paying for a coin, they're paying for rarity, for a moment in time, for a piece of American history that's both flawed and flawless in its own way. And when the final gavel drops, that one humble Tuskegee Airman quarter, originally worth just 25 cents, is sold for a jaw-dropping $18,000. Yes, $18,000 for a coin that many would pass over without a second thought. But in the right condition, with the right error, it becomes something far more valuable. It becomes a story. A legacy. A collector's dream. So the next time you're handed change at the store or going through coins at home, take a closer look. You might just find a 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter hiding in plain sight. And if you're lucky, if the coin has that rare mistake, or is preserved in immaculate condition, you could be holding on to something worth far more than you ever imagined. Because just one of those special quarters sold for an astonishing $18,000. Top 4. Coins often serve as small windows into history, capturing moments, people, and places that have shaped the world we live in today. Among the many special coins released by the United States Mint, the 2019 War in the Pacific Quarter from the Washington State series stands out as a powerful tribute and a fascinating collectible. At first glance, it may seem like just another quarter, but when you dive deeper, this coin reveals a rich story of bravery, sacrifice, and resilience during one of the most intense theaters of World War II. And for collectors, it holds a value far beyond its face worth, sometimes reaching staggering prices. The War in the Pacific Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 to 2021, honoring national parks and historic sites across the country. This particular coin highlights the War in the Pacific National Historical Park located on Guam, commemorating the fierce battles fought between Allied forces and the Japanese Empire during World War II. This park preserves the legacy of those who fought and suffered through the brutal island hopping campaign that was critical to ending the war in the Pacific. On the obverse side, as with all modern quarters, you'll see the timeless portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, a constant symbol of American resilience and leadership. But the real story unfolds on the reverse, where the coin's detailed design draws you into history. The artwork depicts a scene from the war in the Pacific National Historical Park, showing an American soldier wading ashore amidst barbed wire and the chaos of battle, with palms and dense jungle framing the background. This evocative imagery pays tribute to the courage and tenacity of the servicemen who fought in some of the most grueling and pivotal battles in the Pacific theater. What makes this coin especially captivating to collectors isn't just its historical significance but also the rarity of certain minting errors and its condition. While millions of war in the Pacific quarters were minted, only a small fraction exist with minting mistakes such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks, errors that can significantly increase a coin's value. Even subtle variations, like a doubled image on the soldier's helmet or anomalies in the foliage detail, are highly prized. These imperfections occur when the coin blanks don't align perfectly during striking or when the dies used have defects, turning ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. Condition is paramount in the world of coin collecting. A quarter that has circulated and shows signs of wear, scratches, or fading is often worth little more than its face value. But when a coin has been carefully preserved, retaining its original mint luster with sharp details and no signs of wear, it becomes a candidate for professional grading. Coins graded mint state 67 or higher are extremely rare and sought after. The war in the Pacific quarter, when found in such pristine condition, especially with a rare minting error, can fetch prices well beyond expectations. Imagine a coin enthusiast browsing through a collection of quarters accumulated over the years, noticing the detailed scene on the war in the Pacific quarter. A closer inspection reveals a subtle anomaly, a faint doubling effect on the soldier's silhouette, a tiny off-center strike, or a slight die crack along the palm leaves. Curious, the collector sends the coin off to a professional grading company. The excitement builds as the results come back, mint state 68, with a certified error. Suddenly, that unassuming quarter is a rare gem. The numismatic community pays attention when such coins appear. Auction houses hold special sales dedicated to error coins and rare collectibles. Bidders from across the nation compete fiercely, each understanding the coin's historical importance, rarity, and pristine condition. The value climbs steadily until finally, the coin sells for an incredible $25,000. This remarkable price is a testament not only to the coin's rarity but to the enduring power of the story it tells, a story of valor, sacrifice, and the unyielding spirit of those who fought in the Pacific War. It's a reminder that every coin, no matter how small, can hold a world of meaning and a surprising value, hidden beneath the surface. So next time you come across a 2019 war in the Pacific quarter, don't dismiss it as just another piece of change. Take a moment to appreciate the history it represents, and if you're lucky enough, examine it carefully for any unusual features. Because one of those coins, preserved perfectly and bearing a rare minting error, might just be worth $25,000. Top 5. Coins can be much more than just currency. They are tiny time capsules, carrying stories of places, people, and moments that have shaped history. Among the many fascinating releases by the United States Mint, the 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter stands out not only as a beautiful tribute to one of America's most unique natural wonders but also as a surprising gem for collectors. At first glance, it looks like a simple quarter, but beneath its surface lies a story of geological marvels and potential wealth that could catch any collector's eye. The Great Sand Dunes Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 through 2021. This program celebrated national parks and historic sites from every state and territory, turning everyday coins into miniature works of art. The 2014 coin highlights the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve in Colorado, an extraordinary landscape where the tallest sand dunes in North America rise majestically against the backdrop of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. This coin is not just a piece of metal, It's a tribute to nature's awe-inspiring beauty and resilience. On the front side of the quarter, you find the familiar image of George Washington, a symbol of American leadership and history. But it's the reverse side that truly captivates collectors and nature enthusiasts alike. The design showcases the towering dunes themselves, detailed with fine lines that capture the texture and flow of sand. Behind the dunes, you see the rugged peaks of the mountain range, while a forest of trees anchors the scene, highlighting the contrast between desert and alpine environments. This imagery is more than art, it's a celebration of one of the most unique ecosystems in the United States. While millions of great sand dunes quarters were minted and distributed, what makes certain versions extraordinarily valuable are the rare minting errors and exceptional conditions that occur during production. Coins with errors, like double strikes, misaligned images, or die cracks, become sought-after collectors' items. For the Great Sand Dunes quarter, some specimens exhibit subtle anomalies such as doubled mountain peaks, misplaced lines in the dunes, or uneven striking of the lettering. These flaws might seem like imperfections, but in the world of numismatics, they turn a common coin into a rare treasure. Condition plays an equally crucial role in a coin's value. A quarter worn smooth from circulation, scratched or dulled, holds little appeal beyond its nominal face value. But a coin that's preserved with its original shine, crisp details, and flawless surfaces can become a prized possession. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70. With those receiving mint state grades above 67 considered near perfect. When the Great Sand Dunes quarter is found in such pristine condition, especially if combined with an error, it becomes incredibly valuable. Imagine a collector quietly sorting through a jar of quarters and spotting the striking image of the Great Sand Dunes. They notice something unusual, a faint doubling on the tree line or a slight misalignment in the dune's curves. Curious, they send the coin to a professional grader, and the results come back, mint state 68 with a verified minting error. This rare combination propels the coin into a league of its own. The coin world quickly takes notice. Auction houses specializing in rare and error coins feature the Great Sand Dunes quarter in high-profile sales. Enthusiasts and serious collectors bid passionately, aware that owning such a coin means holding a piece of natural history combined with minting rarity. The bidding escalates until the coin sells for an astonishing $45,000. This incredible sum reflects not just the coin's scarcity, but the deep connection collectors feel to the history and beauty encapsulated in that small piece of metal. It is a reminder that ordinary things can hold extraordinary value, and that every coin has the potential to tell a remarkable story. So the next time you come across a 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarter, take a moment to appreciate more than just its face value. Look closely for any subtle minting oddities and consider its condition. You might just be holding a rare treasure worth far more than you ever imagined, possibly even $45,000.